Am I the asshole for telling the girl who kissed my boyfriend for a play that she is desperate and pathetic? Would I be the asshole for refusing to stop cooking bacon in my kitchen due to my teenage daughter's vegan lifestyle? Am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I'm a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. Shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy. Danielle, college student who sometimes work weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for something to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown-ass man taking your anger out on high school and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, "Oh, Pete, this is unacceptable. You're fired." I started acting real sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job. Please." And he played up being a hard telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, "It isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it." And James was like, "No, we pride ourselves on the best customer service." Of course, after all that drama, I still have my job. We were just acting, and we've done it a couple times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time, the person who had come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke? Not the asshole. I think it's hilarious, and maybe it'll teach some people a lesson about controlling their assholery. You're not an asshole at all. You're the hero retailers need. Brilliant. Ash. The customers are obviously assholes for being assholes for no good reason. Yes, you are a little bit of an asshole. Is it justified? Absolutely. Are you still an asshole? Yes. Unfortunately, in a customer service role, you're always going to have to deal with people who are angry over absolutely nothing. It's part of the job. Is it fair? No. In a perfect world, those customers would not exist. But we live in a reality, and that is part of the reality, especially of that job. Not the asshole. Some places have mirrors placed between the counter because it's proven that people behave better when they can see what they look like when they act out. Some people seriously need a wake-up call when they start misbehaving. I agree with most of the people here. I don't think this person's an asshole at all. Am I the asshole for making a dad joke? Note, my stepdaughter Madeline was about a year old when I married her mother Jessica. Madeline's father died before she was born. Madeline is currently 15 and she's rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set a punishment up for her. Then she said, "You're not my dad. I don't have to follow you." Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she didn't mean it and that she'd probably change. I just replied, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago. So our family was going grocery shopping when Madeline said, "I'm hungry, I need food." I decided to be extremely cheeky and say, "Hi, hungry, I'm not your dad." My son just started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter was just quiet with embarrassment, and my wife was berating me, not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agrees. So am I the asshole? Edit, I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent. Mini update. I'll probably give a full update later, but here is what happened so far. I go to my daughter's room after dinner and begin talking with her. "Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt you by the words I said, and I really am your dad. I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriend, and I plan on helping you through college. And plus, I'm legally your dad, so we're stuck together, but seriously, I'm gonna love you like my daughter even if you don't think I'm your dad." Then I hugged her. She did start to cry, and I assume that's good. Everyone sucks here, but that was one hell of a joke, and I congratulate you for it. You're the asshole, but a small one. It's a fun joke, but wrong audience. Edit, well done recovery. Everyone sucks here, but A+ for execution. I thought it was funny, but I too am an asshole. It was kind of funny. Was it called for? No, but it was funny. Am I the asshole for not taking down my video that was a gift from my best man? I have a sister that's 6 years older than me. My parents for years cancel on me last minute because of my sister. I have a basketball game. Oops, sorry, sister doesn't feel like going out. I'm graduating. Oops, sorry, sister had a bad day at work. They have missed both major and smaller events in my life because of her meltdowns. I met the love of my life. We decided to tie the knot. From the beginning, I told my parents how I am worried my sister will ruin another special moment in my life. My mom told me over and over again it would not happen. The day of my wedding, I received a voicemail from my mom saying they couldn't come because my sister's dog was sick and she was upset. I was hurt. My best man, however, is a jokester. He took my phone, then went to my fiance and asked if he could post a video of our wedding as a gift on social media. She loved his idea. I had no idea about it until I came home. Our honeymoon was at a lakeside cabin. No cell cell service. The post caption was, "My best friend. He is an amazing person even if his parents never showed up for him." Video was still pictures of us next to her parents, me on the dance floor cutting the cake, where you would normally see both parents in wedding pictures. The sound behind the video was my mom's voicemail explaining how they couldn't come because my sister's dog was sick. I came home a week later to hundreds of messages, family members from both sides insisting I take it down. I was told my sister hasn't stopped crying. My mom is refusing to leave the house. I may be the asshole here. I didn't take it down when I got my messages. I didn't call my family back right away. I waited until my vacation time was over at work and enjoyed my time with my wife in our new home before I contacted anyone. My dad told me to take the video down. It was just a bad night for them, that they will make it up to me and my wife for not coming. My reply was exactly, "How do you plan to make up my wedding? It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You choose to ignore my feelings on the whole matter." Then he just repeated he will make it up to me. I told him I would take down the video only when he made up missing my wedding. Flustered, we both hung up the phone before we both said things we shouldn't have. Am I the asshole here? I could have just taken down the video. Not the asshole. The truth hurts sometimes, and your parents and sister just got whammied. Your friend is awesome. Please leave the video up. Not the asshole. They were finally called out on their blatant favoritism, and they obviously didn't take it well. I'd hold off inviting them anywhere or to anything, OP, at least for a while. Don't make them your first priority when you clearly aren't theirs. Focus on your new wife and your absolutely awesome best friend. They both sound like keepers. Not the asshole. I think I'm in love with the best man. He absolutely showed your parents favoritism and hypocrisy in the best way ever. I hope there will never be an invite to a baby shower, etc. So typically when someone asks you to take down a video of them because it's embarrassing, you do it because it's polite. But in this case, hard not the asshole. They didn't have a good reason to miss it, and they're rightfully mortified. They made the bed and they can lie in it. I absolutely agree with everyone here. If you're embarrassed by a video of you being bad, that means you know that you were doing the wrong thing. It's simple as that. Would I be the asshole for refusing to stop cooking bacon in my kitchen due to my teenage daughter's vegan lifestyle? Dad here, old fart, loves his daughter to pieces, but I'm struggling to see eye to eye with my teenager and wife on this one. We've always been a meat-eating family. We live in the rural Midwest, and bacon for breakfast is pretty much a given. This year, my 14-year-old daughter decided to go vegan, and I jumped onto her support team with enthusiasm. We learned how to substitute ingredients, cook new things, try new things. I adjusted our budget to include more expensive vegan substitutes for her, etc. None of this has been a problem for me until recently. She saw me cook bacon in a pan, and then I rinsed it out to load in the dishwasher. She exploded in anger. Teen years, I'm not too fussed about the anger explosion. I know she doesn't mean it, and said that it was her pan for vegan food. I was completely floored and said, "Kiddo, this here is a family pan. Older than you. It's not your pan." She asked me to purchase her a pan that she could solely use for vegan food. I didn't want her to feel weird about food, so I said sure, and ordered her a few colored ones that are only for her. The reason they're colored is so it helps me remember that I'm not to touch them unless I'm cooking vegan. That wasn't good enough. Now apparently the dishwasher is contaminated with animal product, and the fridge has bacon grease fingers on it because I eat bacon and then touch the fridge. And she's asked me and her mom to completely stop eating meat at home. I don't mean I literally touch the fridge with greasy bacon hands, because I wash my hands, but it's clearly enough that it upsets my daughter. Frankly, I'm on team hell no. Her mom is much more amendable and strongly wants me to consider taking our daughter up on the request. My wife's reasoning is that both our parents live so close and we can eat meat products there, and that she doesn't want our daughter to feel uncomfortable in the kitchen. My daughter says she is fine with cheese and butter in the fridge, but it's specifically meat products that make her feel sick. Now I'm sorry for her, but I feel like she just needs to adapt and live side by side, because I'm not going to stop eating bacon in my own house. Not the asshole. Get her a special sponge she can use to wash her own dishes so she didn't have to use the tainted dishwasher. Not the asshole. She's 14. There is no middle ground at 14. My condolences, as it's going to be a long winter. Had a vegan roommate in the past. He used the fridge and dishwasher just fine. Time for a real-world lesson for her. She's not always going to live with people who share her food lifestyle. She's got to learn to compromise. There is no reason to inconvenience yourselves and others because she's being a dramatic teen. Compromise. She has her own cookware and her own meat-free section of the fridge. Not the asshole. You're already being as supporting as you can, but at the end of the day, it's your house. You don't need to bend the knee to your daughter over this. Yeah, it definitely is, of course, teenagers being teenagers. Eventually, she will understand and get over it. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for wearing the joke bikini my friend got me? So it was my birthday a couple months ago and I had a party. Got some gifts. My friend Mandy got me a super cute bikini. I liked it. Said thanks. She had ripped the tags off, but whatever. Anyway, went to the community pool with my roommate, wore bikini, got in the water. Roommate immediately is like, girl, I look and see that this bikini is now kind of see-through. Haha, good joke, Mandy. Anyway, Mandy invited me over to her place to hang out with her and her BF and a few others. Most leave and we're still hanging out. I'm like, hey, what if we got in your hot tub? I go change after them and meet her BF in the hot tub. She's getting new drinks. I hop in. Immediately, he's looking at my chest. I pretend I don't notice and just make small talk. She comes out a few minutes after and just looks in shock. Eventually gets in. Is that the one I bought? Yeah, I love it. I wear it everywhere. Make up some stuff about how I wore it to the beach and some party with a lot of guys, and she's just like, oh, we're in the tub for 20 or 30 minutes. Eventually get out and change, and she approached me after and was like, I'm sorry, thought you'd notice, but it goes kind of see-through. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why'd you buy me a fucking see-through bathing suit? She's like, it's a joke. Wait, you knew? So you just spent the last 30 minutes flashing my BF on purpose? I reply, I'm just wearing my birthday gift from her. Anyways, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Plus, it's not your fault. He was blatantly staring at your right in front of her. Edit, because it still isn't clear to literally anyone, I'm saying Mandy has nobody to blame but herself for what happened. Not the asshole. She knew what kind of gift she was giving you. You were just getting her back in a harmless way. No one's gonna die from seeing Now you can all have a laugh about it. Everyone sucks here. Her, for her buying you see-through clothing, and you for basically getting naked in front of her and her boyfriend. Nah, everyone sucks here if you squint. Her joke was just as harmless as yours. Not tasteful, IMO, but harmless and not holy. I don't see it as much as either of you being jerks, and more like a back and forth prank. Now you're on equal ground. Also, if her boyfriend was distracted, that's on him, not you. Obviously, it's embarrassing in the moment, but it's not going to have long-lasting effects, besides maybe on their friendship. That's all I mean by harmless. That and the fact that I don't see that what she did was any worse than what her friend did. Yeah, I think this is an everyone sucks here moment for sure. I don't think anyone did anything that was, well, and good. I think it was all not malicious, but, well, maybe it was malicious, but I don't know. Am I the asshole for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him? So my son had a long-distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great. Really nice girl, and we all loved her, welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like a weekend, a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no, and my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl was great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too, which is fair enough. He said no. He didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, and eventually telling his GF and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays, etc. Last week, he told us she's dumped him. I went on her Facebook page as we're still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but things happen, so we're on good terms. It looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him while still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision, and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one, because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship, and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very, very upset, and my wife says I'm being horrible. Am I the asshole? I stand by what I said. Not the asshole. It's the truth he needs to hear. I'm more concerned about the reaction of your wife. Does she enable your son's laziness? Yes, LOL. He's a proper mummy's boy, and I just want him to grow up, to be fair. He's 24 now. Not the asshole. He's been too lazy with the relationship anyway. The girl deserves someone better, and your son needs to know that it takes effort to make a relationship work. Not the asshole. As Lizzo says, truth hurts, lol. Not the asshole. Your son needs to learn that relationships are about give and take. He can't do all the taking, and if you needed to be the one pointing it out, then so be it. Yeah, not the asshole here at all. Your wife coddling your 24-year-old son is kind of making her the asshole, if I'm being fair. Am I the asshole telling my parents to pay me back my college tuition if they want a relationship? I was raised by parents who believed religiously and just culturally in rigid gender roles. Dad should work, mom should stay home with the kids. I'm the only girl and have 3 brothers. Because of their expectation I'd stay home with kids, they never valued my education, educational achievements, or emphasized things beyond domestic skills. I'm the second youngest, and by the time I was in high school, my 2 older brothers had gone to the college of their choice, with my parents fully covering tuition, books, an off-campus apartment, and other living expenses. They eventually did the same for my younger brother. I was told I wasn't allowed to apply for college. I did so in secret and got accepted with the partial scholarship. I didn't tell them I was moving out until a week before I left, with essentially nothing but what a few friends gave to me that their parents bought them for college. I took engineering and had to work, take on debt, and struggle. My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child, and they asked to meet up. We met at a park, and they said they were sorry if they caused me pain, but would like a relationship now. I asked them specifically what they were sorry for. They wouldn't elaborate and just said they wanted to move forward. I said that wasn't sufficient. In the end, I said they could prove they were sorry by forwarding me the $100,000 my degree and college expenses were, just like they did for my brothers. My mom burst into tears, and my dad said I wasn't being serious, and I just left. Since then, I've been getting calls from my brothers telling me I'm being immature and hurtful. I don't think so at all. Not the asshole. Hi from another engineer from a family filled filled with rage that she has all the talent the boys was never up to. As far as I can see, your answer to them was perfect. It was very fair, and if they have fixed their appalling bigotry issues, they would be falling all over themselves begging you to take the money. Since they clearly have not fixed their bigotry, you don't want them around your child. Never, ever poison children by allowing bigots in their presence. No exceptions. That includes your bigoted brothers. Edited to add, I have a bachelor's, master's, and doctorate all in engineering. You have no idea how angry this makes them. Hopefully you will too, and we can all watch the bigots faint from sheer rage together. Bwahaha. Not the asshole, that's a generic sorry you're upset non-apology. They're just around now because they want to influence the baby. The 100K ask is fair if they have the means to pay it. Wow. I would typically say that you would be the asshole because expecting money from a family is never a good thing, but I am making an exception here. No, you're not the asshole. Being singled out like that because you are a woman is gross, and it's terribly unfair that your brothers got a free ride and you didn't for that one fact. Good on you though for making your own way in spite of them. Not the asshole. I'm proud of you, by the way. Despite your upbringing, you persevered. Keep staying strong and standing your ground. Not the asshole. Only showing up now to save their grandchild's soul. They just want to push their crap onto the next generation. I don't see a way how anyone could see that this person is the asshole, because this person is definitely not the asshole. Am I the asshole for sleeping naked on top of the covers to teach my flatmates GF a lesson? This should be good. New to Reddit, please bear with. So I, 21 guy, live with my childhood best friend, 22 also guy, and have done so for 2 years now. Up until last week, things were perfect between us. However, he recently got a new girlfriend, 23 lady, and she honestly seems absolutely great except for one thing. She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common, and I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs the hell out of me when she just barges into my room without knocking first. Now, she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward. I'm usually just chilling on my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions now, she's done it first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Every time prior to the last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out that she could have and she just giggles and says, but I didn't. When she stayed over last week in order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers. Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee, and sees my you-know-what. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My mate later pulled me aside and said I was bang out of order, accused me of deliberately exposing myself, and pointed out that I'd threatened to do it before. I literally just said, okay, but what if I had no covers on and you saw everything before? They're now framing this to others that I'm some sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait of her because that's how I get my rocks off. And I'm kind of seeing how it came off that way. Am I the asshole for doing this? Not the asshole. She knew it was a risk when she barged in. How is she not the pervert? Also, have you considered getting a lock? Everyone sucks here. She needs to respect privacy, but yeah, you knew full well what she would do, and rather than talk to your friend like an adult about how uncomfortable it makes you, you knowingly and deliberately exposed yourself to her. Edit, a lot of people have replied asking how it's deliberate, and I've said it a few times, but he knew she'd see him naked. He was exposed where he had previously not been exposed. And knowing she entered his room without knocking, he knew she would see him naked. His intent was that she see him naked. Edit 2. I think it may seem like I don't think she's as in the wrong, but I think she's more in the wrong. But why she sucks is obvious and requires little explanation. Spending more time explaining why I think he sucks too is necessary, and may have given the false impression that I think he's more wrong. My apologies for not making that clear in the first place. I hadn't expected for this to get more than almost no attention. Everyone sucks here. Might be that I'm the minority here, but everyone in this is the asshole. Her for not being a decent person and knocking, the BF for not explaining the rules of the house and generally letting this stuff happen, and you for being so petty as to deliberately expose yourself to your friends to make a point. I get your thought process and all that, but there were several other things that you could have done first instead of that. I mean, you did this intentionally so she would see you naked. That was your goal, even if the reason behind it was to punish her and not for sex reasons. So they're not entirely wrong. Everyone sucks here, but they suck a lot and you only suck a little. Yeah, definitely you made the big jump there, buddy. I probably wouldn't have done that. I would have talked to my friend, my childhood best friend, but no, you expose yourself to somebody without their consent. So I think everybody does suck here. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to shut the f up after she insulted my sister's thighs? I'm 30 and my 12-year-old sister is living with me right now because mom and pops are vulnerable, so it made more sense for me to care for my sis for the time being. She is really a great kid, and TBH, I feel in a lot of ways she's like my own kid because my mom and dad don't speak English, so I kind of had to raise my sis in ways that they couldn't. Hard to explain, but I'm sure anyone with a secondary culture will get what I mean. My mom and dad are great parents, but having an English-speaking person to guide you through stuff when you live in an English-speaking country is invaluable, IMO. And my sister trusts me with stuff she won't necessarily trust my parents with. Anyway, my girlfriend was FaceTiming me, and my sister walked past in shorts and a t-shirt because it's hot. My GF waited till my sister had left the area, but not the room, and made a face and said, maybe feed her less OP, her thighs are kind of chunky. I saw red and told her to shut the f up. Just came out of my mouth, and immediately ended the call. My sister is a bit chubby, but for fuck's sake, who says stuff like that about a 12-year-old girl? Literally everybody I know has been texting me that I'm a POS boyfriend and that how can I disrespect my girlfriend like that? I'm expecting an apology from her, but to my shock, everybody is expecting me to apologize. So Reddit, am I the not the 12-year-old girls are incredibly vulnerable to body image issues. You're absolutely right to shut down such comments immediately. Not the throw the whole girlfriend away. Family first. Are you the for telling your girlfriend to shut the up after she insulted your 12-year-old sister's thighs? Think about this. She insulted a 12-year-old. She is either a mean girl or she is jealous of your sister / relationship with your sister. Neither optic looks good. So not the for telling your ex-girlfriend to shut the up for insulting your sister. Everybody sucks here. The amount of red flag, hope she's your ex, and so on are typical of Reddit black or white replies. What she said was likely directed at OP alone and not for the little sister's ears. It could have been a poor attempt at concern or equally a mean-spirited jab. We don't know because we have no tone of voice, facial expression, or any other communication tools to judge. OP definitely overreacted though, and she put her foot in her mouth. This last guy is dumb. That's not, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for insulting a 12-year-old when you're in your 30s. Messed up. They're the Am I the for telling the girl who kissed my boyfriend for a play that she is desperate and pathetic? I, 19F, study drama at uni, and my boyfriend is on the same course. My boyfriend is a really good-looking guy, but he doesn't seem to know it. He gets a lot of attention from girls, and for the most part, doesn't seem to get that they're flirting with him. I'm not generally annoyed by this and never really say anything. However, there's one girl in our class, let's call her Victoria, who is obsessed with my boyfriend. She goes out of her way to be paired with him in group activities. For example, if the professor picks groups by numbering us 1, 2, 3, she will move herself to be in the same number as him. And she recently stepped down from a main role in a play we're doing so she could be in a more minor role simply because this character has a romance with my boyfriend. I know this is the case because I heard her say to her friends that she thinks he's hot and whatnot. I've never said anything to her about it because she seems pretty insecure, always complaining about how she thinks she's ugly, and I don't see it as a big deal because my boyfriend doesn't care. However, we recently performed the play and had a small after party where she got slightly drunk and was bragging about how she definitely felt something when they kissed in the play, and she's going to ask him if he felt the same. I rolled my eyes and again ignored it until she actually went up to my boyfriend. She was a little bit drunk, and when she went up to him, I was there too. Victoria started saying that she knows he must have felt a spark. He's a really good kisser, etc. I snapped and sort of shouted at her that you sound incredibly desperate going after somebody else's boyfriend. You're pathetic if you think a stage kiss means you should be together. She looked super embarrassed and walked away, and I later heard she'd gone home crying. I feel like a because she's obviously insecure and whatnot, and her friends haven't stopped calling me a since. Am I the Edit, she 100% knows that I'm his girlfriend. I have heard her talking about me being his girlfriend before. Not the she took it way too far. Approaching him about it was out of line. Not the she was delusional, and you brought her back down to earth. Needed to happen. You tried to ignore it, but she kept pushing. Everyone sucks here. This entire thing is very teen. Hopefully you'll both grow out of it soon. Everybody sucks here. You're teenage drama students, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised that there's so much teenage drama here. But come on. You couldn't think of a more appropriate way to address this woman's relentless and obvious daily pursuit of your boyfriend over the course of weeks, if not months, than shouting at her at a party in order to humiliate her? You couldn't, I don't know, at any time just say, hey, I don't know if you realize, but boyfriend and I are in a committed relationship. You all need to grow up. Yeah, probably everybody does suck here. Definitely didn't have to take it that far. I know Victoria is definitely in the wrong, but so are you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.